And let's now shift our focus to what has been described as one of the most elaborate search operations in history. The search for the Titan submarine has come to a close. The submarine, of course, that was trying to dive to where the wreck of the Titanic is. Rescuers found the submarine debris just a few hundred meters from the Titanic wreck. The American Coast Guard has declared the death of the passengers, but I guess you didn't, while you were talking about this or listening to this or spending all of that time worrying about what happened inside that particular craft, the Titan. One of the things that many people felt is not that much attention was given to another craft, a craft that capsized in Greek waters, which killed over 100 migrants, but surprisingly didn't catch the media's attention. Is it because they were mere migrants and not billionaires? Was the disaster not as eye-catching just because it happens so frequently? Where does the international effort to save lives go when migrants are trapped at sea? And none of this, of course, takes away from the tragedy of what happened to the submersible and what happened to the Titan. And our thoughts are with the families of the people who died. I guess the only point that we're trying to make is that I think all of us, and especially the media, needs to give a lot of attention across the board for people who are suffering, for people who die, and for ships that capsize and are in danger. Search efforts and search operations need to be done for all humans whose lives are in danger, not just for a few. Our next report gives you more details.
This was the Titan, the submersible which caught eyes globally since the past week. After continuous international rescue operations to find the vessel, rescue officials found the Titan's debris. What parts did they find? They discovered the tail cone, two broken ends of the pressure hull, the landing frame, and the porthole window. This was when officials realized that a catastrophic implosion had taken place. The US Navy announced that it had heard an acoustic anomaly consistent with an implosion. This simply means that the Navy sensed the submarine collapsing through its radars. When did the Navy detect this? It was moments after the submarine began its descent on Sunday. Why did they hold back such crucial information? That still remains a mystery. The White House has offered its condolences to the families of the deceased. So who were the 5 men in the submarine? A 58-year-old British billionaire businessman Hamish Harding, 48-year-old British Pakistani businessman Shehzada Dawood, his 18-year-old son Suleiman Dawood, a 77-year-old French diver Paul-Henri Nargeolet, and 61-year-old Stockton Rush, who was the CEO of OceanGate. Although this is a tragedy and families have been affected, a frequent question is being asked. Why is the world so fixated on the submarine? Is it because the story is new, it's different? Is it because the tragedy involves the Titanic? Or could it be the passengers who were in the vessel? You see, they were not just wealthy, they were billionaires. People who paid $250,000 for a seat on that sub. Maybe that distracted the media from covering the massive tragedy in the Mediterranean. Did you know, not too long before the submersible went missing, hundreds of migrants died off the coast of Greece? Maybe not. A cartoon in the Times highlights their alternate reality. It is asking the world, why doesn't its attention get gripped when the poor suffer? A few days ago, a boat carrying hundreds of migrants from Africa to Europe capsized. Reports say over 300 migrants, including many women and children, perished. What the UN now calls one of the biggest tragedies in the Mediterranean received no immediate rescue operations. There was minimal media coverage, and many of the migrants remain missing. Thousands of articles covered the Titanic submarine, but what about the migrants? Were their lives not interesting enough? The lives of the rich, on the other hand, always make for great content. They have all the spice needed to cook a good story. This is not to disregard the lives lost in the Titanic submarine. The world mourns the loss of the 5 passengers. But we shouldn't forget about the ones who are less privileged. All human lives have the same value and deserve equal attention. Bureau Report WION World is One.